Hey everybody, this is Lysorn. I am back with another Dawn's Raid. Dawn Break, Flaming Emperor. I'm all mumbles tonight. Thought I'd do another play session recording, and what we've got here is I have not done any of my quests today, so I'm going to take you through a typical playing session that I do. The only thing I've done before I started recording is I picked up my mail. So we're going to begin with, I see we have Lucky Spin, and sometimes they don't have that active, so it's a hit or miss as to whether or not you're going to be able to do it. So I do the free spin. Usually I'll get crap. I don't think I've ever gotten anything gold from the Lucky Spin. Usually I'll get like a purple or a blue or a green. It's worth doing it, I mean, just for the free stuff, because you can go into the exchange and it's a way to pick up the new fairies that have come out. Right now we have Liam and we have Vito. Vito, and of course we have Celine. Vito is a trap, I think, so I'm not going to get him. I've got a girls-only rule for my fairies, but I did pick up Liam, and so I've got Liam at 3-star, and I've got Celine. I think also I have Celine at 3-star. All right, and the next thing we do is we do our daily check-in. So in the daily, you're going to have your, the first thing you get is your daily sign-in. You want to get that. And then you get 20 diamonds on top of that. And then you go to your online list, gifts, and you'll take your first reward. And you can see on my screen that there'll be 4 minutes, and then 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, etc. So you get rewarded as long as you stay online. The next thing that we'll do is that we will go ahead and pet our fairies. You can see on the right hand side of the screen there's a counter that is going down. You can see it's got 59 minutes underneath it. That's basically, you will get a pet that will recharge once an hour, and that will just give you usually training books, maybe a little bit of gold, maybe some hammers like you just saw me get, energy, which is very helpful. Okay, and then we'll go in and complete our dispatches that I kicked off last night before I went to bed. So it doesn't cost you anything to dispatch your fairies, and when you have your fairies out on dispatch, they're still usable to your team, so you're really not losing anything, so there's no reason why not to do it. So you can see here that you get some nice rewards in terms of, it is a good way to get gold and training books, and also equipment shards is what it's really important for. So every day, they changed this a little while back, but each day there will be a mission that you can send your fairies out for, or a commission as they call it, for the green equipment shards and also the blue equipment shards. And this is very important to do, because that is really, your gear is probably your number one way that you're going to be leveling up your hero's might. So what I do is I just click through and I see what types of elements are required. I can see here, and I've got enough fairies where I can do 4 missions. So I can see I've got a wind one, so I'll go ahead and dispatch my wind element fairies, which increases your chances. So if you dispatch for the proper element, then your chance of getting something good is going to be increased. And I will dispatch, you can see here that I'm at 62%. I'll go ahead now, and we have total level of 150. We met that, okay. Then we'll just go ahead and we'll do the other ones. Just picking them at random here. I'm just picking the high level ones. And we'll do this one. And I will have to do, then there will be 2 more sets of fairies that I can do. Let's do a 3 and a 3. Yeah, do these 2. Okay, so that's all done. And next thing I'll do is I'll do some training. Recently got to level 70, so I need to get some of my fairies up to 70. I've got, what do I have? I've got wind and fire at 70. Dark. Don't have light at 70 yet, so we'll work on light. Okay. And what's the next one to do? Water. Okay. Now we'll cash in some of my quests. And this will give me another couple of points for fairy training there. You always get that lollipop every day. So we can go back in and throw a couple more points at her, just to make the little exclamation point go away off of the thing, so I know what I have left to do. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to now do, look at my gold. Okay, so I have 289 gold. We're going to go ahead and do hero stuff. So every day you want to train a hero 3 times. And I've got all my main heroes, the ones that are my strongest. I've already got them up to 70. I always keep a couple characters behind. So for example, I don't use Zinua. So what I do is I deliberately keep him behind so that every day I can go ahead and I can throw 3 items at him, which will satisfy the training requirement. Then I go to the heroes that I do care about. And we're going to do Clara. And we need to do 3 skill trains every day. Alright, so I've exhausted my books. So I've only done 1 out of the required 3. I'll come back to that in a minute. Take a look at her equipment. Let's see here. Oh, we have enough cash to level up her boots. So let's take a look at the boots that she has. You remember I did a video on this the other day where I talked about how you don't want to just automatically forge the item that's worn. You need to look at the other 2 and compare the stats. So you can see this one here on the right hand side has better defense, but it's worse than the other 2 stats. And let's look at the other one. That's also on par or worse. So I'm going to go ahead and take what she's got. So I'll forge on that. Okay, so that increased her might by 3,441. And now I'll go ahead and I'll rank that up. Now I can't do much because I don't have much. See, already that exhausts. So I'm going to have to cancel. I'll come back to this in a minute. And I now need to solve my in-game gold problem. So to do that, one of our quests involves completing trials. So we're going to go ahead and do our trials, which is going to get us some good amount of gold. And before I do that, I'm going to hop into the guild events. I'll do my daily check-in. I'll do my, you have to do 3 guild quests every day. And you get a little bit of reward for that. And, yeah, I don't have this. I'd have to do co-op to get more of those. Actually, we'll do this one, right? Okay, we'll do that one. Okay, and then let's check the guild events to see if there's anything I can do. And everything, just about everything's in preparation, so we'll skip that for now. So now we're going to go into our trials. And Trial of Wealth is where we get a ton of gold from. So if you do the highest one you can do, if you've already done it before and it shows 3 stars, then you can just do the raid times 3. And that basically instantly completes the quest. It withdraws the required energy. So you can see it took out the energy, but you get experience. And I got almost around 250,000 gold for that. Okay, then we do Trial of Limit. And you can either be lazy like me and just do the highest one that you've completed, or you can try it. I'll go ahead and I'll try one, just to advance my counter. And what I need to do then is I need to let me think about this. Range characters helps with this one is the trial of speed. So the actual trial of limit will change every single day. So for this one, range characters help. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to have all three of my primary heroes here. You can see I'll take Catherine out. Here we go. She's ranged also. All right, we'll try this group. We'll see how this goes. This one is a pain in the ass because the rats keep running away from you. But Clara has an advantage because she can immediately jump to them. And I think I'm going to erase their advantage with Clara. Yeah, I think this is going to work out pretty well because these things, you know, this particular one with the trial of speed where you have to chase the fleeing rats. It's a very frustrating quest because normally you're just running around the battlefield and, you know, trying to catch those little bastards. But Clara, with her 4 blue, 1 orange, that problem is immediately solved. Okay, there they are. Yeah. Okay, so apparently she does have a range because she didn't get all the way across the field all in one shot. Oops, hello. And I just spilled my drink. Let's see how things go here. We got 46 seconds left. Am I going to finish? Okay, so it looks like she gets... When they're on the opposite side of the field, she only gets about halfway. So this is a pretty big play field for this game anyway. I mean, for other games, this is small. Okay, so we did not get our 3rd star. We've already lost our... Looks like I missed it by a few seconds. Yep, I was a few seconds slow. Okay. Still got good rewards, though. So I'll show you what happens when you don't have all 3 of the stars completed and then you try to do the raid. So if I try to do the raid, it says, nope, you got to get all 3 of your gold stars completed. I'm going to be lazy right now because I don't want this video to take forever. So I'm going to go ahead and just do... you do times 3, you've already got 1 done, then it's going to do it times 2. Okay, so I got training hammers, or sorry, equipment hammers, training books, which I desperately need. Now we'll do Trial of Hero. Same thing. So if you've done the hero successfully before, you can go ahead and do it. Otherwise, you can try your hand at the next level up. I'll go ahead and do this one. We'll see how this goes. For this one, I need my primary character to be the opposing elementor. That's advisable anyway. I need to take wind out because wind has a penalty against fire. We'll put Catherine back in because she does some good damage. And for the one in the pocket, I don't know that I care. I shouldn't have to use her, but whatever. Alright, let's see how we do. The character the hero that we're fighting against, I don't need or want this character. Again, no boy rule takes effect. But, you know what? It's free shards. Oh, I got a, some other characters, or sorry, some of my guildmates really like Agadi. I haven't really looked into him. in terms of what his benefits are and how he would. Like, I was told that he pairs well with Clara, but I have not looked into it personally, so I couldn't tell you if that really works or not. But I prefer heroes that are easy on the eyes, so you're going to have to forgive me. That's how I roll. Let's try the next highest one. Let's just keep going up and see how high I can go. Oh, that went fast. Okay. Yeah, Phelan's bubble effect when you have her high-end gear on kind of interferes with their bikini. It just there's some kind of like a in fact, it's so funny when you pull her up in the dressing room. It's like you kind of rotate her around. And you can tell there's some kind of a clipping issue with respect to the effect bubble that she's got versus the lighting or the shadows. I haven't quite figured it out what they have wrong there, but it just doesn't quite work right. That being said, Phelan does meet the stated requirements for being on my team. Let's see how we're doing here. Eat my angry snowman. Okay. And another benefit of completing a 3-star mission, to get that 3-star raid unlocked, is that you do get diamonds in the process of that. So you may have noticed just now, a few seconds ago, that for each gold star that I completed, I received 5 diamonds for each one. I'm out of tries. You get 3 each, and I'm done. So let's move on. So I've completed my mandatory trials. Usually what I'll do is I'll do at least one Trial of Emperor every day, because there is a separate quest for doing Trial of Emperor. Now for this one, I want to put my good team back, and there's a couple schools of thought on this one. Actually, there's one school of thought that I've been taught in our guild. So the idea is that you want heroes that can heal themselves. And you're going to have, in the case of Trial of Emperor, you're going to put Ande the 7th in the leader spot, and you're going to put Lovey on him. Then your character that's in the pocket will be another character that's capable of healing. And that might be her, with Nya as her fairy. And what I also will do is, I have one slight adjustment to this that I do, where because I have Lovey as my primary hero's fairy, Lovey heals party members. So I will have one additional light hero, and that would be Gabriel. And I'll put her in the other spot. And we'll just give her, I don't have any other light fairies that are 4-star or higher. So I'll just go ahead and I'll have her have Island. That's fine. It's a 6-star fairy. So the idea is that during the early stages of Trial of Emperor, the kind of orthodox or conventional way of doing it is you just run your primary character, your primary hero, and you have the one in the backup slot. And you don't have anybody in slot number 3 or slot number 4 until you need it. And you just keep healing yourself until you start running out of heals, and then you start bringing in more people. So let me show you how that looks. So again, the benefit of running this particular quest as Ande the Seventh is that, number one, he comes in shielded. Number two, when you have Lovey the fairy on him, you can fire that off, and that's going to do a heal over time to everybody else on your team. Now, when his shields run out, and I was stupid because I used my ultimate too early. Okay, but what I can do now is I can swap out to Haley. Use her ultimate. Now, she gets a shield also. And I wait to use her fairy, Nia, until I need the heal. And it looks like I'm starting to need it, so I'll go ahead and I'll use it. Okay. So not too bad. I could have done that a little bit better. But the idea is that, just like in the previous video I uploaded where I showed how Spacecrack works, when you're doing the Trial of Emperor, your characters do not heal up in between battles. So if I were to continue on and do all 15, and I don't think I'm going to do that in this video because that'd be pretty boring to watch. But the idea is that as you progress up through the missions, your characters do not regenerate. So you have to use little tricks like what I'm showing you. So in my case, you can see Ande came in with a little bit of damage because that's what he had from his last one. I will wait a little bit. Okay, oh, that's right. In his passive skill, notice that he healed himself. So he has a passive skill where he heals. Uh-oh, I see Gabriel's in trouble. There we go. Okay. So I fired off Lovey to give Gabriel some heals, but I think Gabriel's in trouble. I don't like it how they don't show the health bars of your squad. Yeah, Gabriel's about to die. She's got... The thing about Gabriel, she has an instant heal. One time each battle, where if you get her down to like a third of her health, and she immediately pops back up to full health. I don't know if they regarded that as an exploit, and if they turned that off in this battle mode. I don't know. I probably have to do. I'm curious. I probably have to do one more just to see if it. I'm gonna do one more. I'm curious if Gabriel's going to go down or not, or if she immediately gets her instant heal. So I'm going to try to focus and look at her health bar to see if it immediately, like if she takes a hit, does it immediately pop her back up to full health? And yes, it did. Okay. Yep, I can see her health bar pop back up to full. But she's already taken a lot of damage. So she, in my team, I don't have her properly geared, so I think she's just taking a beating because her gear is subpar. I don't think she has any. I don't think she has any yellow or items. I think she's probably just running all purple stuff. That's the downside of having too many heroes and trying to spread your resources across many heroes. Yeah, she's about ready to get killed off here. Yeah, she got killed off for sure. Okay, well, let's go do something else. So the idea is that you use this technique of you have one primary character and the character that you switch out to, and usually it's some combination of Haley plus Nia, and then some other character, like usually Gabriel or Ande, and you just kind of go back and forth, and you swap out your characters while you're waiting for the fairy's healing timer to regenerate. So let's take a look at what quests I'm able to turn in. And no, I don't want to spend any money right now. Thank you. Okay, so we did the trial mode, we did Emperor, and we did guild quests. Okay, and you can see that I also got a bonus of 200 experience. That's because I now have completed the 5 quests. Now I'm 7 out of 10. When I do 10, I'll get another 300 experience, and then another 500 for doing 15. Okay, what's next? I need to do Adventure 9 times, Battle Royale, World Boss, Equipment Upgrade. That's right, you saw me start to update skills, and I said I'd come back to it later. So now is later, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go back to Clara, who is, she is the character that the hero that I'm focusing on right now. Let's see if she has any more. Okay, so from the books that I got from doing the fairy stuff, I'm able to complete some more skills. I've now done 3 out of 3. Next, we'll go to equipment. And all I have to do here is I have to, at a minimum, upgrade 3 times. So in other words, if I spend 3 of these gems, I fulfilled the requirement. But I'm going to go ahead and do more, because I want to get her more powerful. Okay. Next, I need to do spirits. And I need to pick one of her spirits. And again, we need to do a minimum of 3. So spend at least 3 of these, what do you call it, dusts or whatever. I'll go ahead and I'll spend enough to get her up to, oops, I spent too much. We'll do that. Okay, so now I should have satisfied equipment, skill, and spirit. So let's see if that's so. And yes. Okay, and then this gets me to my 10 quests a day. So if you look at the, whatever, the timeline on YouTube, and you see how much time we've spent in the video so far, you can see I'm already 2/3 of the way through a typical PlayStation, not counting Guild Raid. We go back into our daily boon. We now have another reward available. That's for 5 minutes. Now the next one will be 10 minutes from now. The next part will take a little bit longer to do, and this would be, let's go ahead and do some fairy training while I'm here looking about it and thinking about it. Got some more items, not much. Okay, so 9 adventures. That's really easy to do. So if you've done all the adventures that are available to you, what you can just do is either go into the main or the side story, go in, tap the elite, go to the highest thing that you've done, do start, and do raid times 3. And that one tap counts as 3 out of the 9 completions that I need. And it does not matter about your team composition. As long as you're doing a raid times 3 and not the start button, it'll auto-complete the quest 3 times. You get the experience rewards, which is the most important part. And what I'm doing here, you notice I'm hitting the one that has the shard reward. You don't get it for all 3. You might get it 1 or 2 out of the 3. But the idea is that you do want to accumulate as many shards as you can. In this case, I got 1 out of 3 shards. It's a random thing, but that helps. So I've done my 9. So now if I go back, you'll see that I have the quest is now complete. The reward isn't that huge. It's just an incremental thing. I gotta get up to the 15 because that's where the big reward is. That's the 500 experience points plus the summoning token. And really, it's doing the 200, 300, and 500 experience points. If you do that every single day, you're going to level up quickly. Okay, I have to do one battle royale, so I'll go ahead and I'll do that. You can see I have 6 available, but I'm not going to do all 6 tonight because tonight is Sunday. The rankings will reset tomorrow, and when I come in tomorrow morning, I'll come in with all 6 tries ready, and I'll be able to jump up to the top of the rankings. So this week, I'm low on the rankings because I did have some travel earlier in the week, so I wasn't able to play the game every day because of work travel. So I'm just kind of said forget about it. I'll work on it next week. Okay, battle royale. I don't know what the enemy element is. I haven't kept track of it. But I'm going to go in as Clara, and I'm probably going to kick some ass. We'll see. So I've discovered in the last few days, as I've been playing around with this thing, Clara is a beast in Battle Royale. And it's a double-edged sword because she does a ton of damage, but the person who does a ton of damage then has to be the boss. And I hate being the boss. Let's see here. Unless it's the four-legged kind of the biped is the one that I hate. Okay. So Kyraneth is a member of our guild. I do not recognize the Chinese characters, the other 2 names. So I can't comment if they're active or not. Okay. Usually when I run Clara in Battle Royale, I will take it out of auto mode and I'll control her manually. And we are about to jump to the top of the rankings here. Yeah. So in a moment, yep, I just became the boss. So here's why I make a silent prayer and I say, please kill me as quickly as possible so I can get back to being the hunter. Let's see. Now, so far, Kyraneth is the one that's doing the most damage against me. I think it's hard to tell who I have targeted. I think he might be my target right now. I also see that one of the Chinese guys is kind of doing range stuff at me right now, and he's kind of kiting me off to the side. He is running the Remo character, and oh, there's another Clara in the mix here. Okay, all right, I'm going down. Great. Now I can go back to having fun. Okay, here we go. Get up close, fire off the fairy, fire off her ultimate. And you just did a shitload of damage. Sorry, Kyraneth. I know you sometimes watch these videos. Dude, I'm so sorry I'm killing you. Alright. I gotta see, where is that? Oh, I killed a guy. Woohoo! Alright, let's try to see if I can't get over to that guy, because he's doing a ton of damage. It's so hard in this mode. Oh, I just barely won by like 100 points. Man. That was a squeaker right there. I was watching that Chinese hero points go up, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay on top here. Okay. In any case, I have enough. You can see here, I'll get another entry added to my total in 3 hours, 20 minutes. But I'm not going to burn up all my points tonight. I'm going to save them for tomorrow. So you'll be able to see I've completed another quest. We're going to now get to 13 out of 15. And the two that I like to do every day. Oh, I need to do friend gift. Okay, I'm going to get over 15 because I still need to do my guild raid, world boss, and gift stuff to friends. So what you do is you go into the friend icon. Once a day, you just click give all. That gives everybody some points. Everybody gets 20 friend point. In return, everybody does that for me. All my friends are pretty active. So, and that is useful for friend summon. In fact, I have one of those I need to do. And I have an excess of 20 friend points. So I can go ahead and spend those now. So I'll do the 10-time draw. Okay, island shard and some stuff. Okay. We'll do a quick fairy train just to make the exclamation point go away. Let's do that. Yeah, Orisa is a pretty good fairy for a water hero. I haven't decided if she's going to be my main water fairy or if it's going to be Chloe. Chloe is also interesting. Well, she does damage, 369%, nothing to sniff at. And do I have, is this one a water? I really haven't looked into Ivy that much yet. What does she do? Oh, she's a healer. Okay. Well, that'll help. She just heals the active water hero. She doesn't do the whole team. Okay, let's get back to it. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to do guild raid. Now, because today's Sunday, I had church and I had some other stuff going on. I wasn't able to raid with my team, so my team tends to raid in the morning hours, like mid-morning to early afternoon at the very latest, and it's about 7 p.m. here right now, so about half the team is already in bed, and I think the other half they've already ran. Looks like F-Sport and Blah, probably F-Sport and Blah, who are number 1 and number 2 on the list here. They're on my team, so they probably just went ahead and they ran. Vladimir, number 10, he's the one that the latest that he's available would be around 2 o'clock in the afternoon my time because he's in another country. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run. We are on boss 10, and I will run as Clara. That's the primary. So when you do guild boss, you get to pick two heroes. You get your primary and you get your alternate. So I'll make Catherine the alternate. Give her a dark fairy. Okay. And typically what we do is that we will be in our Discord application and we'll announce that we're raiding, and normally we'll raid at the usual time that our team runs. So we have multiple teams in this guild. And normally what you do is when you start up the room, you announce it, you wait for the others to join, and then you tap ready to go once all 4 of the member slots are filled. And then you hit start. Alright, and hopefully this time I won't spill my drink. Well, that's another quest I have to solve. Alright, I'm going to run this one in manual mode. So let's go ahead and close the distance, fire off island. And I'm going to be basically alternating between the 3 blue, 1 orange, and the 4 blue, 1 orange. So this one, chain disruption. Sorry, again, I'm all mumbles right now. Chain destruction. Oh my god. Which I'm doing now. That lays down an area of effect field right in front of you. But it can potentially not be beneficial if the boss is running around. Endless Nightmare, which is what you just saw me do just now. That's the 4 blue, 1 orange. That one's a guaranteed hit if you're close enough, because that's going to move Clara right to the monster, and then it will fire off a that. Basically, she basically nukes the target. Dust off. Nuke the target from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. What are we supposed to use? Harsh language? I'm going to start quoting aliens now. Why don't you put her in charge? Who was that guy? Was that Bill Paxton? Who was it that played that character? Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up on YouTube now. I have this. I have the DVD, but I'm too lazy to go downstairs and go rummage through my DVD collection to find it. I love that film, Aliens. And Sigourney Weaver played as this badass. And it was great is that they played her. I mean, they didn't really sexualize her character. I mean, there was like one brief little scene where they get out of the freezing pods, and she's in her panties or whatever, and that's it. The rest of the time, she is a soldier, pretty much. Just a hardcore, badass, strong character. Well written, in my opinion. But I'm not I took a semester on film study in college, and that's about all I can say. By no means any kind of a film expert. I think I took I took one film class in high school, and then I took a semester of a film criticism class in college. Actually, quite interesting. I learned a lot from that guy. Oh my God. I just remembered. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. So this is in fact about the film criticism class that I took when I was in college. So I was what happened was that I had started out as a computer science major, and I did very well in computer programming, which is kind of ironic because that's actually what I do now. I'm in IT, so I've written software. I oversee projects. I do software installations and upgrades and patching and stuff. But when I was in college, I took Fortran, Pascal, maybe one or two other computer languages, and the programming stuff I was good at. But I was just awful when it came to anything abstract. Mathematics in particular. I was awful in math. And at my college, in order to get at the time they called it a computer science degree, you essentially had to minor in mathematics. If you went through all the required math classes, you were essentially like maybe 4 or 8 credits short of a math minor, so you might as well just go all the way and be a math minor. And I flunked out of calculus twice. So I flunked calculus 1. I had to retake it, and I think I got maybe a C or a B the second time around. Then I took calculus 2, flunked it. I don't remember if I successfully retook it or not. And I had to take a couple other classes like advanced logic. And what I found is that the higher up I went in mathematics, the less likely that I would be able to understand the language of the professor or the teaching assistant because they were not native English speakers. At that time in my life, I was not around people who had English as a second language. I spent a lot of time in Seattle, where the only non-English speakers I was exposed to were Asian, And then I spent time in Michigan where I had exposure to no non-English speaking native speakers at all. So it was a culture shock when I went to college, and for the first time, I'm being exposed to people with very strong Indian accents. And again, ironic, I'm all that all the time now, and I have no problem with it. I can understand the thick accents, Russian accents, Indian accents, Chinese accents. No problems communicating with anybody as long as they're making an effort to speak English. I have no problems with it. But back in college, kind of revert back a few decades. I'm not going to disclose my actual age, but I'm not a spring chicken. My voice may sound young, but I'm not actually. But I had a very difficult time. Where am I going with this? Oh, okay. So when I started flunking out of these classes and stuff, and my parents kind of set me aside and were like, okay, why are you going to school? What is it that you're trying to do? And by the way, this performance is not acceptable. And I thought about it, and I thought about, what it is that I want to get out of the education. And so I ended up switching my major, and I switched from computer science to classical studies. When I entered college, I wasn't aware that there was a classical studies major available. And my parents said, back when we went to college not for a specific career, but to get an education, to get a general education. And when I entered college, I had a specific career in mind. So I was, that's why I went into computer science. And so after thinking about it and thinking, what classes do I really enjoy? What do I get the most out of? What am I good at? And I actually had a knack for writing. I was really good at writing, whether it be, papers or even played around with fiction and writing fiction and so on. So what? That's what I did. I changed my major to English with a minor in classical studies. So once I did that, my grades just started going up and up and up. It just everything reverse course. So as part of my minor for classical studies, I took some extremely interesting classes. Oh shit! I'm still playing. I thought that the timer ran out. Sorry, I was just thinking. So my points are not going to be good here. Okay, so for classical studies, I took a class on ancient archaeology, ancient Rome, ancient Greece, mythology, and film studies. And these classes were smaller. So in the big, computer science and mathematics classes, you're in like an auditorium where there are maybe over 100 people there. Whereas in these little niche classes that I was taking, again, no professional value. Like I knew that when I minored in classical studies and majored in English, I knew that I wasn't going to get a career out of it. It was just to get an education. But these were smaller classes, and where I was able to interact with the professor. All except one, English was their primary language. The archaeology professor, English was his fifth language, and this guy was just so insightful. He was like, I don't know, probably on the edge of death. The guy was like 70 or 80 years old. He was a fossil. But he was, and there was probably maybe like 10 people in his class. And it was my first class of the day on every Monday and every Tuesday and Thursday. It was like a 7 or 8 o'clock class. It was early in the morning for me. At the time, I was not a morning person, but I got to his class on time because it was so small that it would stick out like a sore thumb if I wasn't there. Whereas in the class of 100 people, they didn't care if you showed up. You just have to take the test, right? So I, would go to this guy's class. And then the film studies class, same thing. It was probably about, I want to say maybe 20 people in that class. So Wasn't really small like the archaeology class, but it wasn't huge like, math or biology or Fortran. I don't even know if they still teach Fortran. So this, so here's my story. So this film studies class, I got into the habit in this particular class where I would sit in the second row in the middle. And this particular professor that taught the class he had a habit where he would not stand behind a podium. That was not his thing. He spoke, I don't even know what the word, extraterrestrialist? He spoke off the cuff. Okay, he spoke off the cuff. And he would walk around the room. His technique of lecturing was very effective at keeping your attention. He's constantly moving around the room. He is walking to the left side of the class. He's walking to the right side of the class. He spoke very loudly, almost to the level of shouting. Very passionate about his subject. And so he would, walk around, even like move desks around to get closer to you or whatever. So what happened is that, and in his class, what you would do is that you would study a film. There would be a viewing where a auditorium would be obtained. So we would go to a movie auditorium. He would be there. He would play the movie. And while the movie is playing, I think we had maybe 2 viewings. The one viewing is we just watch it as is, no commentary. And then we watch it again. This time he's live streaming it, essentially, okay? I won't tell you the decade, but at the time there was no concept of live stream. So he's there in the room yelling, and he's calling things out as they are happening on screen. Hey, do you notice this visual? Hey, listen to the music. Is it not too loud? Is it not too dramatic? Notice this particular thing that's happening in the background right here. So you would point little thing out, and you walk away from it like, wow, there's a film. I think it wasn't called film criticism. I think the title of the class was Film as Literature. And I walked away from that class like, wow, I mean, if a film is well done, right? Not just trash, not, just whatever, comic book movie or whatever. And I like the comic book movies from, Marvel and so on, but there are some films where when it's really well done, you walk away with a lot of ideas. Especially if the filmmaker is trying to make a point. You walk away with a different perspective on whatever topic it is that the film is about, even if it's fiction. Which I want to say every single film that we reviewed was fiction. But it was, we did some of the classics, and then we had some oddball things. There was one film I wish I could remember. I wish I could find my notes, because it was this European film that was absolutely hysterical. And I wish I could watch it again, because it had these little themes in there that were just, it was funny to watch, but it was also thematically interesting. In any case, here's the thrust of my long-winded story. So my best friend at the time decided to take me out for my 21st birthday. So at this particular college campus, if you show your ID and you go to the various bars, if you show your ID and it's your 21st birthday, you'll get 1 free drink. Needless to say, he took me, and he had a car, he had a driver's license. I did not have a car, so I walked or used my bike around campus. So he took me around to all these different bars, and we would get our free drink. And I had forgotten that the next day was one of my midterms for this film as literature class. The way the midterms work is that You watch a film twice, like I described. He will then lecture for 15 to 20 minutes on the next film, and then he makes you fill out what was called back then a blue book, which is essentially you have this empty notepad, if you will, paper, pen and paper. He goes up on the chalkboard and he starts writing out his questions, and then you have to write an essay, written responses to whatever questions he put up on the board. This is not multiple choice. You have to write it out in words. So my friend took me around to all these bars and stuff. Get back to the dorm at, it was probably after, maybe a little bit after midnight, maybe 1 o'clock, and I'm sick as a dog. I was not used to so much alcohol, and some of it was hard alcohol. All right, got my 15. Great. Let's do World Boss. I get back to the dorm room. The room is spinning like crazy. And I don't know how many times I got sick. I was still sick the next day. The class, the film was literature class was at, I want to say it was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was puking at 8, I was puking at 10, I was puking at noon. So I got to go to this class. I can't miss this thing. It's a small class. He's going to notice I'm gone, and these midterms are essentially critical to the grade for the class. So I have to attend. Get to the building where the class is. I'm walking to the classroom. I'm about maybe 50 feet away, and I turn around, I run back, and I puke some more in the bathroom. Finish puking, get to the classroom, sit down in my seat, and again, it was just automatic. I just picked the same seat I always did, second row in the center, and I had I didn't even give it a second thought. What am I doing here? I need to pick Catherine. Okay, so I'm sitting down there, so I sit in my seat, and I'm like, oh my God, this is because the hour, I think the class was either 1 hour or 1 hour, 10 minutes, I can't remember. Waiting for the bell. Okay, class is starting. I forgot that he roams around, that he talks loudly. I'm there, I'm like, just give the test. Start writing the questions, just give the test. I gotta get out of here so I can go back to the bathroom and puke some more. I have no idea if I'm going to make it an hour because I have the last 4 consecutive hours I've been puking nonstop. And he starts lecturing about the next film that we're going to be reviewing. And he comes and he's like, at one point during the lecture, he's like 3 feet away from me. He's yelling like, oh my God, it hurts me. I'm like, just in so much pain because of the loud noise. When you're hungover, the loud noise and being hungover horribly doesn't really work together. And so he does his 15 to 20 minute spiel. I'm like, oh, come on, please, hurry. Finally, he walks up to the chalkboard and he starts writing down his first question. And he finishes the first question, and I'm already answering. I'm not waiting for him to be done. So I finish this thing as fast as I can. And the way it works in this particular class is once you turn in your paper, you can leave. You don't have to wait for everybody else to finish. So I'm furiously writing out my answers. I'm the first person to leave, and I'm like, I think I finished maybe 15 minutes before class was supposed to end. So I'm like, I cut out of there, I go back, I puke some more. About, I want to say 2 weeks later, obviously I've sobered up, I'm doing okay, and it's time for the results of the midterm to be passed out. He had this thing where he would say when he would pass out what he would do is that he would call out your name, and then you would walk up to the front and you would pick up your blue book, and you open it up, and on the first page he would put your grade. And I seem to remember it was on a point system, so it would be like, so many points out of 100. And he said that when he called out names that they were not in any particular order, but I knew that to be wrong because I knew that from prior tests that he handed out, he tends to call out the top scorers first. And I did pretty well in his class, and I've noticed a pattern where, so my name is low on the alphabet in terms of like, my last name doesn't begin with the letter A or the letter B or the letter C. I'm after the letter M, N, O, okay? So I'm pretty down at the bottom in terms of the English alphabet. So it wouldn't make sense from an alphabetical perspective for my name to be first. And so he announces that he's going to be calling out our names, and that we have to go up and pick up our results. And I'm like burying my head in my face, right? Or burying my face in my hand. I'm like, oh my God, what is going to transpire here? Because I knew that it was sloppy in terms of my performance. My name was the first one that he called out. I go up and I pick up the thing. I take it back to my desk. I sit down and I open it up. I can't read my own handwriting. It is so sloppy. Sloppier than normal. Nowadays, I do everything from a computer, so my handwriting is pretty bad. But back then, my printing was still pretty good. And I'm reading my printing, and I'm like, this is really bad, even for me. And it was like, my score was like 99 out of 100. I have no idea. I don't remember what the film was or what, but I'm just like, my jaw dropped. Like, how did this happen? Who took this test from me? So anyway, that's my film story. Long story, long-winded, but got to do something to talk through these missions, right? Yeah, we did some of the classic films like, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the names of them. I could have been a contender. And the Jack Nicholson one, where on the waterfront. And then but then we did some of these other ones that were like, I've never heard of these films before, but it just really kind of taught me some different perspectives. I loved taking the mythology class, though. Had this guy, this professor, who he was from somewhere in Europe. He had a kind of some kind of an offshoot of an English accent, but it was like more of a, like, for example, we read the Odyssey, and we studied the Odyssey. And he's like, so you got this bloke, Menelaus, and he decides to go on this adventure. And so that's kind of his accent. What else? Ancient Greek history and ancient Roman history was awesome. I'd almost like to go back and take that particular class again, just because it's like, okay, empires fall, and there might be some parallels with what's going on today. There's nothing new under the sun, right? Did not take any foreign languages in college. I took the required foreign languages in high school because you had to. I want to say I had to take 1 year of a foreign language in junior high, and I want to say I had to take 2 years of a foreign language in high school. It was either 2 semesters or 2 years. I can't remember how it worked. I just remember I had to take German 1 and German 2. And I also took, I think I took French 1. Barely remember any of it. Again, I'm not going to disclose how many decades ago it was, but I probably now know more foreign words in Japanese from watching anime and hentai than I do from German and French. Let's see, what else? There was one class in college that was a guaranteed A, and that was marching band. 1 credit. You just had to show up. We had the first few years of marching band, we had a kind of a dictator of a director. Last year, and then she left, and then we got a much better director that was fun. Didn't try to pit people against each other. But I am thankful I got, there was an opportunity to go to Japan. So I went to, it was my, what year was it? It was my, I think it was my junior year. Yeah. So there was a game. It was an exhibition. Oh, I'm getting good points here. I'm number 7. I still have one more try. There was an exhibition game between my college and another college to be hosted, and it wasn't supposed to count towards our official rankings or anything. It was just an exhibition game. And I don't know how it was, some corporate sponsorship. I want to say Coca-Cola was the corporate sponsor, but it was to be held in Tokyo, Japan. And for each team was allowed to bring up to 70 members of their marching band to Tokyo. And it was an all expenses paid thing. So airfare, hotel, food, everything was paid for by the sponsor. So we had, at the time, I think we had about somewhere between 100 to 120 members in our band. So we had to do auditions and stuff to be down selected into the 70 that got to go. And it was very emotional for the people that, failed to make the cut. They were very distressed. But I was picked in the 70 and I got to go. And it's an experience I'll never forget. I mean, being in a foreign country, being in Japan in particular, is completely different from, being in other countries where maybe everybody else, like being in Europe, I would imagine, where, excuse me, everybody kind of looks the same or whatever. But, I mean, when you're in Japan, I just remember, I think it was our first time that we went, where was it we were going? I think when we were being moved to the, I think it was the day, yeah, I want to say it was the day of the game. We had this long bus trip, and then we had a subway trip. And I remember being in that bus. So obviously it was a charter bus. We had, I think, 2 or 3 buses. And going through downtown Tokyo. Sea of Japanese people on the sidewalks, on the streets, because most of them weren't driving around, they were walking. And we would come to a stop, traffic light would turn red or whatever. And these people on the street would just stop, look up into the bus window, see all these white people, and stare. Like the looks on their faces are like, I've never seen so many white people in one place all at one time. And, by the way, where am I in terms of my quest? I think I'm about done here. Did my 15. The really cool part, though, is when we had the game, It was at a so there was a stadium that they set up for us. There was it's like a Olympic soccer stadium from like the whatever 80s or 70s or 60s, whenever Tokyo last hosted the Olympics. So that was the venue that we had the game in, I believe. At the end of the game, the other, the teams left. The other team's marching band left. Our college. We were a bunch of partiers, and we stuck around a little bit. And all these people in the stands came down to the lowest bleacher, down to where the rails are, and they were cheering. They wanted to talk to us. So we couldn't understand them or anything. A few spoke English, but I mean, we ended up just walking from the 50-yard line to the goal line, just walking down we were on the field level. They were at the lowest bleacher, a couple feet above us, just shaking their hands. They were just so happy to see us. I guess back at that time, Americans were really popular in Japan. I don't know why. I don't know if that's still so. But we felt like rock stars. And we were just college kids in marching band uniforms is all. It was a really weird experience. So I would not trade it for anything. Let's see here. Do that. And I think I probably rambled enough. I hope you found the video entertaining. If there's something in particular that you want to learn about Dawn Break that I have not covered in my videos, feel free to make a comment, and I'll try to oblige. There's a couple other games I'm playing. I've gotten recently into King's Raid, and I might maybe make a video about that sometime. Again, I'm just starting out, not very high level like I am here. So I've got things to learn, and I'm still learning around, but be happy to cover that if you're interested. So let me know in the comments. Have a good night.